First of all, Victor, I would like to welcome you here and thank you for accepting to join this adventure. I know this is a very initial process and experimental topic that we are trying to develop. As you know, I'm Ingrid. I study at UFRJ, studied visual communication design. And to start our conversation, I would like to know, what do you think on design in a general context? Like, what do you think it means to design or to be a designer?
Well, in a general context, I believe that design is solving problems and helping people to understand something or do something better. And as you know, there's a lot of design areas, and I believe that each area, besides being for a specific purpose, like product design to develop products and service design to develop and better service. But everything, as I see, it's more of to help people, to assist them and to better their lives.
About your working or your studying experience, what do you think is the best part? What you enjoy the most about this phase of studying and working as a designer?
What I enjoyed the most during my whole experience with design, that's still little if you think about it, because I'm still studying, but I believe that it was the research that we always have to make so we can go further with a project to understand what people need, to understand what their necessities are.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we can think about something that can help them. I believe that's the most enjoyable thing for me. I think it's the best of the design
It's
for me.
almost magical, right? And it's curious that you brought up this topic because the research part, it's a common subject for all design areas that you mentioned it earlier. We, no matter which area you choose to work at, you have to do some research. So
Yeah,
it's a very interesting comment.
you can't project for you. You're gonna always project for someone else. So you always have to know what they need and what they want,
Yes.
or your product is not going to be
And it's also very
um,
nice to talk to people.
successful.
I love talking to people.
Design is been teaching me how to communicate with people better. So I always
Nice.
say that before college, I was a completely different person, and now I'm so much more open to communicate and
Really? I
to
didn't know that.
yeah, and yeah, basically it's been a very incredible experience for me.
Since you started your journey on design, studying, working, researching, if I ask you, Victor, what is your favorite day until today? What day is there a day that you think of and immediately you feel like, oh my God, this day was the best day until today?
That's a very hard question. I believe that a very nice day for me is when I was at the lab that we work, and I was working with all of you and learning new stuff. We were talking about the My Neighborhood project and what was our purposes and our objective with it, and what do we want for the future, what we want the My Neighborhood project to impact people's lives. And I believe it was a very happy day for me because it was the first time I was actually thinking about something like that. Because in college, we always project, of course, we're thinking about the people. But at the end of the day, it's more of an academic project. You're doing so you can pass on the subject.
Yes.
But with this project is what we were, it was real, you know, we were designing to people to put to work. So I
Yes.
believe it's a very happy day for me.
And now I want to know if you have some project you developed in college, or maybe a project you developed for yourself in your house as a hobby. I don't know. What was the best project you did?
There's two projects. The first one is a kid's wheelchair, a baby wheelchair, I
Really?
believe. Yeah, it was a project that I developed with a friend of mine during a subject. And the theme of the project was accessibility. We decided to work with wheelchairs for people with paralysis. During our research, we ended up finding an opportunity to work with babies that has this particular condition, because a lot of these babies and very young kids, like 1 to 3 years old, since they can't move
Oh,
very well, they are not allowed to discover the world by their own, you know, by sliding and playing on their own. So we were searching and we found that there was a few products that help these kids, but we tried to go further and we developed a wheelchair for these babies. It's a prototype. As I
uh-huh.
said, it has a lot of improvements, but I believe it was one of the best projects that I ever made, because it was a very deep research that we do. And the other one, it was the app that I developed for a UX class. It was a mobile app to help people to find theaters on the city of Rio de Janeiro. We discovered that a lot of people don't go to theaters to watch some plays because they don't have much information about it. You know, we did our research, we talked to people, we made an online research,
Mm-hmm.
the desk research, as we say, and we made prototypes. We then test our our solution, and I believe it was one of the best project that I did. That also ends up opening my mind for the UX area and this iteration design, UX design, user experience, and that I'm currently flirting with. I'm currently studying with. So yeah, I believe that's the second product that has a place in my heart right now.
What do you think is the best part about being a student? And what is the hard stuff?
I believe the good part, it was to meet a lot of new people, different neighborhood and different social conditions, and to learn as equal with them. You know, I think make new friends, make new colleagues that are gonna work with you someday, maybe. You know, I think that at the same time, meeting new people and working with new people is good. I also believe that's very complicated because, you know, working in a group sometimes is very hard. And sometimes we have a little stress with some people. But again, I believe that's forever. That's not because only we're students. And also I believe that we're still learning. And I believe there's a lot of expectations on us.
And a more current question is about the pandemic, about the coronavirus situation. Since this all started, what do you think it was the biggest change that affected your routine, your way of, I don't know, studying or working?
I believe the biggest change definitely was the home office. I don't usually like to work from home because I don't think that I'm so productive. So I always prefer to work out of home. And since the pandemic started, it has been a great challenge because I need to adapt and I need to organize my time. It was a big challenge, but at this point, I believe that I'm dealing okay with it. So, which is something amazing for me. You know, it's difficult, and I still don't like it, but I'm learning to organize myself more so I can work.
It's not like we have any other option, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
What is your learning process? When you want to learn something, what do you do?
when I'm trying to learn something new, I always start by Google. So, to see what this thing is and to learn a little bit more. And depending on what it is, I I'm a very paper person, so I love to write and I love to draw. So, and I believe that always helps me to assimilate the information more. And I'm also think that for you to learn something properly, you need to practice, you need to put it to work. I think that you're always gonna learn better if you put it to work, if you practice. Because you think that you have a lot of things. No, I know how to do this. But when you're
And
going to
when
do
you
it,
do,
you're like,
mm,
okay, it's not like this. This is hard. So my process is basically this. I always Google to have a general idea, then I write it down, and then if it's possible, I practice.
our last question. I just would like to know, what is your dream as a designer? Have you ever thought about it?
Sometimes I think about it, but I don't think that that I never be able to find an answer. If I could say something right now, I believe that my dream as a designer is to make a difference, even if it's a little bit, at something, you know. I don't want to be, oh, he's a designer, cool. I I want to be a good designer and to really make a difference somehow. It doesn't have to be changing the world entirely, but a little bit, maybe.